for a couple of people to join in, and then we'll get started. Yeah. So like we discussed, we'll start with a little bit of introduction and then we'll go on to the session. Hey, hi everyone. We'll start with the session very, very shortly. Just waiting for some other folks to also join in and then we'll get started. Meanwhile, we'll be playing this short video as a filler.
हे दोस्तों, वेलकम टू अपना कम्युनिटी। ये वो जगह है जहां आप अपने असली पोटेंशियल को एक्सप्लोर कर सकते हैं। देखो, सबके पास स्किल्स होते हैं, पर क्या आपके अंदर वो स्पार्क है जो आपको कामयाबी की ऊंचाइयों तक ले जा सकता है? अगर आप सोच रहे हैं जॉब चेंज करने के लिए लेकिन रेज्यूमे सेलेक्ट नहीं हो रहा या फिर इंग्लिश में इंटरव्यू देना थोड़ा चैलेंजिंग लग रहा है, तो फिक्र मत कीजिए, यहां हम हैं आपके साथ, आपको सपोर्ट करने के लिए। अपना कम्युनिटी में आपको मिलेगी बेहतरीन कम्युनिटीज जहां आप अपने प्रोफेशनल स्किल्स को सुधार सकते हैं। चाहे आप एक्सेल, टैली, जीएसटी में माहिर बनना चाहें या फिर आप खुद एक ब्यूटिशियन या डिजाइनर हैं, तो यहां आप अपने काम को शोकेस करके दूसरों को टिप्स एंड ट्रिक्स देते हुए आगे बढ़ सकते हैं। अपना कम्युनिटी में आपको मिलेगा मेंटर्स का एक खजाना और बड़े इन्फ्लुएंसर्स का साथ जो आपको हर कदम पर 1-to-1 गाइड करेंगे। यहां आप ज्वाइन कर सकते हैं अपने फील्ड या इंडस्ट्री स्पेसिफिक ग्रुप्स, जहां आपको ऐसे कई लोग मिलेंगे जिनसे सीख के आप वो गलती ना करें जो वो कर चुके हैं। ऐसे लोगों की जिन्होंने स्टार्ट किया था एज एग्जीक्यूटिव्स एंड आर नाउ सक्सेसफुल मैनेजर्स इन देयर डोमेन्स, जो आपको आगे बढ़ाने में मदद करेगा। यहां आपको मिलेगा वो सही डायरेक्शन जो आपकी करियर को नेक्स्ट लेवल ले जाएगा। तो लेट्स अनलॉक योर पोटेंशियल टुगेदर। अपना कम्युनिटी में ज्वाइन करें और अपने सपनों की ऊंचाइयों तक पहुंचने का सफर शुरू करें।
Hi everyone, मेरी आवाज आ रही है सबको? Am I audible to everyone?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. ठीक है.
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay, so we'll get started with this session. And before we do, just wanted to ask everyone if they are comfortable with English. If in case someone is not, they can mention in the chat. So we'll try to maybe keep a mix of both. Bhavna, are you comfortable with the mix of Hindi and English?
Yes.
I mean, I can understand Hindi, but I cannot give the presentation in Hindi.
Got it. No worries. So we'll keep it mostly in English. In case there's any queries that needs to be addressed, I will help them out. Right? Yeah. So we'll have most of the session in English. In case someone has any specific question, anything that they want to know, I'll help you out. And you can also refer to the session later on as a recording and maybe check the subtitles for that in case you're having issues with the current session while it's going on live. So with giving a quick introduction to what this is all about. So this is a part of Apna Community Exclusives. We've been doing these sessions for a good 2 months now. And the primary goal of these sessions is to help you grow in your professional career, help you give certain tips and tricks which will help you get a better job, improve your skill sets, maybe improve your spoken English, help you with technical skills. So we do these sessions almost every day now, and it's completely free and you can join in to improve your own professional and personal growth. Today's session will primarily be about exploring career opportunities in e-commerce sector. And for that, we have Bhavna here with us. She's worked as a product manager in Big Basket and has been a mentor in the industry for quite some time now. And she's helped many young professionals, freshers and graduates to find the right footing. So we are very glad to have you here, Bhavna. Thank you so much for joining in. And thank you everyone else for coming and making this session successful. So without any further delay, I'll ask Bhavna to take over and quickly introduce us and get started with the session. Yeah. Sorry, just one last thing. Regarding questions, we will be taking your questions towards the end. There will be a dedicated 15-20 minute Q&A session. If you want to ask any questions, please use the chat here. You can also use the Q&A section to add your questions. We will be taking all of your questions and addressing them towards the end of the session. Yeah, sorry, please go ahead.
Do you see my screen?
Yeah, we can see the screen.
Okay, awesome. Firstly, thank you, Deepanjan, for reaching out and giving me this platform for me to share the knowledge that I have acquired while working at Big Basket for 5 years. So, and one great thing that I really want to share is I joined Big Basket because I wanted to understand how e-commerce works, because it has been a booming industry for the last 10 years and it's only going to increase. So, and I was fascinated by the number of teams and the number of jobs which are there in e-commerce. which I had never imagined. So I'm really excited to share what all I have learned in Big Basket for 5 years and what all career opportunities that you can explore in an e-commerce industry. So quick intro, and the reason that I have shared this is to tell you that how careers are not very linear, and it's definitely not like how you would have planned. So I did my engineering in telecommunication, okay, like learning how microwaves work, how antennas work. But then I joined as a software QA engineer doing manual testing, and then I learned coding because that's where the money is what I thought. So I did telecommunication engineering, and then I did software testing job, and then eventually I became a product manager. So it's okay, whatever you've studied, if at all you want to pursue something really different, it is absolutely okay. It's not like you have done MBA and you have to do marketing. So even if you've done engineering, you can just become a marketeer. Okay, so it really depends on what you want and where you want to put your energy. So I joined in as a QA engineer, and then I became a product manager. And another thing is I started writing on LinkedIn, and that's how I became a blogger, and then eventually became a public speaker. And I've spoken at various colleges, universities, and I've been a lecturer in London as well, teaching bachelor students doing management. So I'm really excited to share all the knowledge today with Indian students, I guess mostly, so that you can get started with your jobs. So I have broadly divided the career opportunities into two categories. Okay, so one is corporate and the other one is operations. So when I say corporate, so we can think about many different options. So I think the first thing that comes is tech, where okay, you would have thought about okay, developer, QA, and all of that. So we will also speak about the tech roles, which involves coding, tech roles which does not involve coding, and then there is marketing, there's content teams, there's category sales, and there's planning team. And so when I say corporate, I'm saying that okay, these are the teams who will sit in your corporate office. Okay, so that's your corporate world, and then there is operations. So when we say e-commerce, what we can imagine is okay, there is a warehouse. So and it is also called as a fulfillment center. So there's typically a warehouse, and then somebody goes there, picks up the goods, and then delivers it to home. So there's logistics. And then there is customer service because e-commerce, there's no face, it's not an offline store. So of course we need customer service because if we have any queries, that's who we reach out to, right? So I'll get started with the corporate function. Okay. So when I say tech, let's talk about the tech roles which involves coding. Okay. So I think the most popular one will be developer. Okay, so when I say developer, there are multiple types of developer again. Okay, so there is front-end developer. When I say front-end developer, I mean the website that you will see, right? So if you type in Amazon.in, you will see that website. Now someone is developing this website, right? So that's your front-end developer. Okay. And then there is backend developer. So when you click on any button, so you see the actions happening, right? But all the action is actually happening behind the screens, right? So you don't see, you just click pay and then everything happens. And that's where the backend developers will come into picture, okay? You would have heard of API developer, so that falls under backend, okay? And then there is DevOps. Okay, so when I say DevOps, what I mean is, okay, you have done all your coding and now you're ready to, let's say, release a feature. Okay, for example, I'm not sure if you have used BB now. Okay, so what happened? Or let's take the example of Amazon Prime. Okay, so you had Amazon, and then Amazon Prime came into picture. Right. So once all the code is ready, now we want to release that feature of Amazon Prime, right? So who is doing all this deployment, right? Saying, okay, now we have a fresh code which is all working. Let's take this new feature live. So that is your DevOps engineer doing all the work of deployment. And then there is Android app and iOS app. So there are different developers who are coding for Android apps, and there are different developers who are coding for iOS apps. So if at all you're passionate about Apple or iOS, then you could become an iOS developer. Okay. So that's developer, and then there is testing. Okay, so developers would have written all the code that is necessary to make a feature work. Now, of course, you would have heard of bugs, right? So something is not working. You click a button and there's nothing, and it's not working. So we don't want that to happen to our customers, right? So that's where testing will come into picture. So when I say software testing, or it's also called as QA, which is quality assurance. So you can search for a software QA engineer or software test engineer when you're looking for job roles. So under QA also you will find various options. Okay, so the most common one is manual testing. That's how I started, because I am a person who does not like coding. So I started off as a manual tester. So when I say manual testing, what I mean is, okay, a developer will give you a feature saying, okay, hey, we have this new Amazon Prime. Can you test it? So the basic things that you will test is, okay, whether people are able to join the Prime membership, and then they are able to see the Prime video, right? Let's say all the movies. So whether those buttons are working, whether people are able to log out, whether people are able to browse multiple movies. So these are the things that manual testers will do. And that typically requires only common sense. It's not a big skill that you require. So you can get started. If at all you want to start your career in tech, I think manual testing is the best option. Okay. And then there is automation. Eventually I learned automation. So this is where you require coding languages knowledge, right? So I learned Java. So when I say automation, it basically means that um, let's say there is website bigbasket.com. Now we release a feature, and then many times you would see, oh, something is broken at our end, this is not working. So automation will also catch some of these bugs. Okay, so automation is where you write scripts saying that, okay, a person has to log in, browse the features, you add something to cart, you check out, and then you see that the order is placed automatically, right? So if something is broken in midnight, then automation script will catch it and will notify others saying, hey, your website is broken, please fix it. Okay, because not we because manual testers cannot do this job all the time. And then there is performance testing. So when I say performance testing, let's say there's bigbasket.com and there are 100 visitors using it for now. Now
Bhavna,
just
sorry
imagine.
to interrupt for one
Yeah, yeah.
second. I think some
Okay.
people are facing an audio issue. Can anyone
Okay.
else in the meeting confirm if you're able to hear? If there's anyone else who's also facing audio issues, not able to hear? We can hear. Okay. So in case anyone is facing an audio issue, try reconnecting, and there's an option to join with or computer audio or device audio. Do that. I think that should solve the problem. Yeah. Sorry for interrupting. Please go ahead.
Yeah, sure. No problem. Please feel free to interrupt if something is gone off. Okay, so coming back to performance testing, what I mean is, so let's say there's bigbasket.com, there are 100 visitors, everything is working fine, perfect. Now just imagine COVID happened, right? So when there was lockdown, there were like thousands of customers trying to hit bigbasket.com. They're trying to come to website, and then the website stopped working, right? So that is when performance testing will come into picture. That is how much load or how many customers or how many, you can call it traffic, website traffic if you have heard. So it's basically how many people can access the website at the same time. Okay, so that is how you do performance testing. And then there is security testing, right? So many times you might have heard of cyber security and hacking, right? So if at all somebody does during lockdown, it was genuine customers, let's say 100,000 customers trying to access bigbasket.com. That was a genuine case. But let's say tomorrow, if there are like thousands of customers which are not real, okay, so it's just fake email IDs and all, and they all try to hit bigbasket.com. So it could be done by hackers or computers or whatever it is. So there is security testing as well to ensure that these things don't happen. Okay, and then there is IT operations. So this is something which I learned more when I got married to my husband Praveen, and he is an L3 engineer. So when I say IT operations, let's say in a company there are thousands of devices, be it Windows or Mac, right? So whenever your laptop stops working, you go to that person, right, saying, "Hey, my laptop is not working, or this software is not working." So the person that you reach out is actually called L1 engineer. Okay. So you can if at all you are someone who do not like, let's say, coding languages. So developer and testing, you will need to know languages, let's say Java or C++, whatever it is. But for IT operations, it still involves little bit of coding. So I will say 40% coding, where you will need to write some scripts. Okay. So if you are someone who is like, okay, is it coding? IT operations is something which you can explore. Okay. So L1 engineer is like, hey, my laptop is not working. Please do something about it. Now let's say he cannot fix it. Then it will go to an L2 engineer. L1, L2, L3 basically means level 1, level 2, level 3. So L1 person cannot fix it. It will go to L2 person. L2 person also cannot fix it. Then it will go to L3 person. Okay. So that's how IT operations is broadly classified. And again, there is security team. So again, that is to ensure that okay, your pen drive, so all your drives are blocked, right? So that is something which IT operations will do from a security point of view. You cannot access, let's say, your servers without VPN, right? So all this will come under security. And then the last one under this particular category is analytics. So I think you might have heard of data scientists, business analysts, data analysts. All of this is getting a lot of popularity nowadays because of AI. So I will touch upon what these two things are. Okay. So business analyst, or also you can search for business intelligence in the job roles. So this is typically to say that, okay, how is my overall business going on? How many orders am I receiving? Is it improving or is it decreasing, or has it gone down only in Bengaluru, or has it gone down in all the regions? So, or which category is performing well, which category is not performing well? Let's say electronics is performing really well on Amazon, but let's say clothing is not performing well on Amazon. Why is this happening? So, all this deep dive is what happens in is what is done by business analysts. Okay. So for this, you will need to know language, which is SQL. Okay, SQL. You can learn SQL using the lot of courses, of course. So again, if you are someone who does not want to do a lot of coding using Java, break your head, SQL is another option. It is comparatively simpler compared to, let's say, developer or testing jobs, and of course it is really a booming job role, I will say. And then there is data scientist. Okay? So data scientist is the person who is sitting behind and, let's say, building all those algorithms which will talk about product recommendations. Right? So let's say you've bought a phone, and then there is a recommendation saying, hey, do you need this phone cover? Or do you need this accessory? Do you need do you need a headphone? So that is your data scientist doing all the product recommendations, showing similar products. Okay, so, or it could be even smart basket, right? So you would see in Amazon, if at all you buy a shampoo, it will show one-time purchase, or it will also show subscribe and save. And that shampoo bottle is typically like subscribe and save for 2 months. Okay. Whereas in case of diapers, it could be subscribe and save for 1 month. Now, for each product, this subscribe could be different, right? For diapers, it could be every month that you require. For shampoo, it could be every 3 months. So this is the intelligence which data scientists are building. Because just imagine a person doing all this for thousands of products on Amazon, right? Not possible. Data scientist is required. Again, you will need to be really good at maths. If you are someone who loves math a lot, you want to break your head and build the right thing. You're good at SQL. Data scientist job is for you. Okay. Uh, and coming to tech, but there's no coding for a person like me. Okay, so there is project management. So when I say project management, let's say you want to release a feature, primevideo.com. Amazon has been working fine. Now you want Prime Video to be released. Now this is a big, big project, right? So you need to break it down saying, okay, this has to work on desktop web, this has to work on iOS, this has to work on Android, right? So this is a big project and it will typically take months, okay, at least 6 months to release the Prime Video feature, okay. So a project manager is the person who will make sure that, let's say, this project releases on time, okay. So they will come up with estimates saying, okay, this will can everybody please be on mute?
Yeah, we will give you an opportunity to ask questions. So until then, please keep your mics on mute. If you have any questions, please ask on the chat.
Okay. Okay. And then there is product management. Okay. So that I'm a product manager. So what does a product manager do? Let's take an example of WhatsApp. Okay. So WhatsApp, initially it was just chat, and then came calls, and then came status. And then for example, there was only single tick, then there is double tick. Okay. So each feature, what is that next feature that has to be built in an app? That is something which a product manager will decide. Okay. Now, again, you could come up with, oh, let me build this fancy feature. So it's not like you can build whatever you want, right? So you have to come up and justify saying why you are building this feature. For example, WhatsApp, a product manager in WhatsApp could say that, hey, on Instagram, the stories are a big hit. I think it will work great even for WhatsApp. Maybe we should definitely try it out, right? So you should come up with a proper justification saying, okay, why you're building this, or it could be ratings and reviews, right? So Big Basket did not have ratings and reviews for like 5 years or maybe 7 years. But now ratings and reviews, it's a very common thing in most of the e-commerce platforms, right? So that's when I will say that, hey, we need ratings and reviews, and it will really help people whenever they have to buy a new product, right? Something which they've not bought, they want to buy a new brand, they will trust ratings and reviews, right? So you have to justify why you're building this new feature. And also, once you build it, you will also have to see whether that feature was a success or whether it was a failure. So I'll give you an example of a failure product, which is on LinkedIn. They had this profile video option, okay, but now they've removed it because it has been a failure product. Not many people actually uploaded it, or it could be because not many people actually viewed the profile video, right? So it is a product which has failed, and as a product manager, you should be okay to scrap a product feature, okay? And then there is designers. Okay, so you might have heard of graphic designer, you might have heard of UI UX designer. So graphic designer, it's basically all those fancy, whatever fancy stuff that you see on websites or on your social media. You can imagine that it's a graphic designer doing it. And then there is UI UX designer, which is basically that in an app, where are the buttons placed? How does the font look like? How do you introduce, let's say, you want to show a new label saying this is a sponsored ad, this is a sponsored product. Where will you show it? How will you show it? What will be the color of it? All this is part of UI UX design. So that's about tech. Now we will talk about marketing, which is probably much more interesting to many people here. So again, in marketing, there's traditional advertising, of course, like people who will have to do TV ads, radio, newspapers. You want to advertise on IPL. There is a person in the marketing team, like doing all the conversations with the IPL team and making sure the ad shows up on TV, right? And then there is email marketing. I'm sure all of you will receive emails where they're trying to promote a product or a service. So that's email marketing. And then there is the fancy one, the most popular one, digital marketing. Under digital marketing, again, there are multiple categories, which is social media marketing, SEM, and SEO. So, what is social media marketing? Um, Now you will see that most e-commerce companies, they do reels, and they put it on TikTok, Instagram. They are quite active. They post every day. So all this is social media marketing. Okay, it's not paid. There are people in within the company who are doing all this, and then there is SEM, which is paid. So you will see a lot of Facebook ads and Instagram ads. So how is all this done? Of course, there's a person in digital marketing uh, working out, okay, to whom all should we show big basket ads? Should we show it only on Facebook? Should we show it on Instagram as well? So should we show it on LinkedIn as well? So all this is SEM, which is search engine marketing. And then there is SEO. So SEO, again, it's much more technical. So SEO basically means that, let's say you type buy online grocery, you will find lot of websites. It could be Amazon Fresh, it could be Big Basket, it could be Blinkit. Now, you as a company, let's say you're working in Big Basket, you want to make sure that Big Basket shows up as the first result, because most of us click the first result in Google search. So you want to make sure that Big Basket comes up as the first result, and you don't want to pay for it. If you paid for it, it will show as an ad, but you want to make sure that Big Basket comes up as the first search result. So that is where SEO will come into picture. So if you are someone who likes, let's say, want to understand how Google search works, how you can optimize your website to make sure that it comes up as the top result, SEO is the job that you might want to try. Okay. Again, there are a lot of courses for all of these. Do give it a try. And if you want any, let's say, direction on how to approach any of these job roles, please reach out to me on LinkedIn. Okay. And then there is on-site marketing. Okay. So when I say on-site marketing, now you open a homepage of Amazon or Big Basket, most things that you see are banners, right? Now these banners could be about some, let's say, a sale going on, a sale, let's say big Amazon festival. So you see all those banners, right? So all that is part of on-site marketing. Okay. So coming to sales and planning, again, there is on-site and off-site. Okay. So when I say on-site, I'm talking about the website or the app. Okay. So here, one of the roles that I understood only when I joined the e-commerce is category management or merchandising. Now, let's say today in Big Basket, there are 100 products. After a year, there are possibly, let's say, 500 products, right? So who is onboarding all these products? It is the merchandising manager or a category manager. Okay. So a category manager, what they do is, let's say I am part of, say, dairy products. Okay. Dairy category is what I own. Now I will, let's say, first onboard Amul brand. And then I will also onboard Heritage. And then I will also onboard Nandini brand. So it's a category manager who are bringing these brands onto your e-commerce platform. Okay, so it's typically called merchandising or category management. Basically, this person is bringing on the brand on your e-commerce platforms and their products. Again, it could be first launching with one product, seeing how it goes, and then bringing more products from that brand onto your e-commerce platform. So you can search for merchandising manager or category manager are the typical job titles. And then there is key account management. So when I say key account management, let's say in Big Basket, there are 100 brands. Of course, not 100 brands are like top known brand, right? Let's say 60 brands are something which is like Amul, Ponds, right? So they are very popular. And of course, there are some 40 brands which are not very popular. Okay. So key account management is something which is given to brands which have a lot of products. Let's say Amul, okay, or it could be Unilever. So these big brands are typically given a key account manager so that they ensure that the operations between Big Basket and the Amul brand is smooth. And then there is offsite sales, right? So offsite sales is typically in a B2B setup. When I say B2B, it is business to business. So you would have seen some sales representatives, right? Or you would have heard of business developer. So these are the ones which are also there as part of your sales team. And then there is customer success. Customer success is similar to key account management, where you want to ensure that the customer success manager is always there with the companies who are giving you lots of money, like let's say Amul or some other brand. And then there is private label. So what is private label? Private label is basically launching your own product on your e-commerce platform. Okay, so you might have heard of Amazon Solimo. So it's Solimo products are from Amazon brand. So it is something which, and there are category managers exclusively for private label. Right. So as a person working in Amazon, I want to make sure that people buy more Amazon products than, let's say, some other products, other brand products. Right. So there is private label. Another example is BB Royal. If you open Big Basket, you will find lots of Big Basket owned products, which is BB Royal, BB Popular. And the last one in the sales and planning is the most interesting one, which is inventory management, also called as, let's say, demand planning or planning manager or replenishment manager. So what happens in this is you want to make sure that, okay, eggs are never out of stock, or Maggie, for example, is always available. It should not go out of stock because it's the most commonly sold product. So it's the planning manager or the inventory manager making sure that, okay, this product should always be available. This product is okay, it can go out of stock for a day. And this product, let's say product C, it can go out of stock for 1 week. So all this is decided by the inventory manager. Okay. And of course, they take the help of data and the data analytics team to build this system. Okay. So that was about the first part, okay, which is, let's say, the corporate function. Okay, so we spoke about tech roles, which was with coding, or tech roles which does not involve a lot of coding, marketing teams, digital marketing, what's there in that, and then there is your sales team as well, right? Now talking about I'm sorry, I think I missed one slide. Let me check, which is okay. Yeah. So under marketing, I also want to talk about one more interesting team, which is generally not known, which is content. Okay, content marketing. You can search for content marketing. So when I say content marketing, you will see a lot of let's say you open a product description page, you open Amul butter. Now, when you open Amul butter, you will see a lot of content in that product page, right? Now, who is writing all this? So it's a content writer who is writing all this content. Of course, the ingredient and the title, all of this is standard. Someone can do it, but you will also see how, let's say, some recipes that you can do with it, or what all keywords should be there in a website so that it helps in SEO. Okay, so that Google is able to read those different words that are present in your website, and it will make sure that bigbasket.com shows up as the first result. Okay, so there is content team and there is content editor as well, right? You want to make sure that, okay, sometimes the packaging changes, correct? There would be, let's say, a typical boring packaging which would be done, and now what brands decide is they change the packaging to much more vibrant, in a vibrant style. Now you want to tell the customer that, okay, hey, look, the packaging has changed, so but it's still the same brand. You don't have to return it, right? So that's when content editors will come into picture, saying that, okay, this brand has changed the image of this particular product, so they will edit the current product images, saying that, okay, you could receive this packaging or this packaging, but it's the same product, don't return it. Okay, so there's this content writer, then there's content editor, and even for marketing, right? So even to do social media marketing, you need a lot of banners, you need a lot of images. Even for email marketing, there's typically images. Now even for banners that shows up on the homepage, someone has to design all of this, right? Like you have very small real estate, but you want to make sure that you communicate as much as attractive information. So all this is done by content designers as well, and they're typically part of the content team. It could be graphic designers. So all of this will come under content marketing. Okay. So till now, all these people, they are going to sit in your corporate office. Okay. And now this is the last but one slide. Okay. So talking about operations. So they are the backbone of e-commerce. Okay. Now, till now, what all we spoke was on related to the website or the app that the customer has seen, the shopping app. But it's really the operations which is the backbone of e-commerce. You want to make sure that okay, all those products are properly there in warehouse. It doesn't go out of stock, and it's delivered. Like you order 20 items, you want to make sure that all 20 items are delivered to the customer. It shouldn't be only 18 items that is getting delivered, right? So it's the operations where all the action happens, the real action happens. So let's talk about fulfillment center, also known as warehouse. So what all roles are there in a warehouse? Okay, so I understood this only when I went to a warehouse tour of Big Basket. Okay, so there is inventory controller. Who is an inventory controller? So there is a person in the warehouse who receives all the goods. Okay. Now let's say there is Amul brand. We have ordered 100 packets of Amul butter, 100 packets of Amul milk. Now this inventory controller is the person who is actually there in the warehouse, making sure that we have received all 100 Amul butter packets and Amul milk packets. Okay. So it shouldn't be less. If it's less, then again there is adjustment in the invoice. So this is the job of an inventory controller. And then there are typically stackers, pickers, packers. So stackers is okay, you have received all the goods which are on. Now someone has to put it in the rack, right? So there is a stacker and there is a stacking app as well. So stacking app saying that okay, Amul butter should go here, Maggi packet should go here. So there is a stacking app as well. Okay. And it's the stacker who uses that stacking app and puts it in proper rows. Okay. And then there is then there are pickers, right? So let's say Deepanjan placed order for 20 items. Now pickers, pickers who are present in the warehouse, they have to go around the warehouse and pick all those 20 items. And then packers, it's basically the final one saying, okay, all these 20 items has to go to Deepanjan. This is all together. And then there is quality control. So quality control is to make sure that okay, you don't send, let's say, broken bottles or let's say unsealed packets. So that is quality control, who randomly checks some orders to make sure that everything is fine. And to supervise all of this is happening properly, there is a warehouse manager. Okay. So if you are someone who, let's say, don't want to be in front of system, you want to make sure that okay, the operations are running smooth. And trust me, operations is much more difficult. You might feel that okay, being in tech is difficult, but operations is actually the toughest part. Okay, because let's say we would have, according to the website, it might have said that okay, we do have Amul butter. Okay, but actually, when a person is actually trying, let's say, is about to pick the Amul butter, it's not even there. Now, what do? Right? So there is a lot of chaos in the warehouses that happens. So if you are someone who loves chaos, who wants to do, let's say, real time problem solving, operations is the role that you might want to pick. So now let's say the order was packed, all 20 items are there. Now it has to be delivered to the customer. So that's where logistics will come into picture. Logistics, also called as last mile delivery. So there is transportation management. When I say transportation management, it is about vehicles, right? So for big orders, you will see that the order comes in a van. And for small orders, which is only say 5 items, or it could be Swiggy, Zomato, just typically small packages, just two-wheelers are enough, right? So transportation management is where you are, let's say, buying vehicles, uh, and now you will see that it's all electrification that is happening across all e-commerce companies, because EVs are the future, and they're cost effective. So it works both the ways. So transportation management is all that vehicle, procuring vehicle, like sourcing all those vehicles. So that's transportation management. And of course, there are delivery executives who are actually delivering the order. And the interesting one is logistics analyst. Okay, again, this you need to be good at Excel for this. Okay, and possibly even learning the SQL language. So when I say logistics analyst, you always want to improve the efficiency of delivery, right? You want to make sure that the order is delivered on time. You want to make sure that if a person has ordered 20 items, all 20 items are delivered. It shouldn't be 19 items. And it could be the case that, okay, you have ordered two items, you want to make sure that the same two items are delivered. It shouldn't be some other product is delivered. So who is monitoring all this? It's a logistics analyst. And even with riders, it could be that, okay, some riders might be causing problems, saying, okay, one rider A is performing well, but rider B is typically associated with, let's say, loss of items. So you want to monitor all this, right? So that is the job of a logistics analyst. And of course, the last one is customer service. Because, like I said, e-commerce does not have a face, there's no offline store. There are multiple problems which can happen. So, customer service to the rescue. And under customer service, there are multiple teams. Okay, so there is email team and there is chat team. Email team, which typically takes 24 hours for you to resolve, for a query to be resolved. And then there is chat team, right? So chat is more popular now, especially with automated chats. And then there is calling team, um, where, let's say, a person calls, who is not comfortable with email and chat. And then there is social media. You might have seen that many people raise their complaints on social media as well, be it on LinkedIn or Facebook, Twitter. So maybe they've not gotten the resolution on email, chat, and call. So that's why they post it on social media. So there are customer service representatives who are working under these different streams. Okay, so I mean, it's really not easy. If you want to be this customer service, and trust me, it's not a bad job at all. It's a very, very tough job, because you need to have a lot of patience, and people are typically very agitated. They're pissed off when they call customer service because something has gone wrong. So and I would like to quote this example, that a person who joined who joined in customer service 10 years back, he is now the head of the entire customer support team. Okay, so he joined as an agent, and today he leads the entire team of 2,000 people. Okay, so there is growth opportunity even in customer service. It is not at all a bad job. Okay, so what I would like to share is, of course, you can try, let's say you want to be in digital marketing, or you want to be in content, you want to be a designer. Of course, keep trying. But what I'll say is, while you keep trying, I would suggest you to get started with some job. Okay, it could be in customer service, or it could be in a fulfillment center. That knowledge will really help you. Okay, and another example is, a person was working in a warehouse. Okay, he was working, I think, in quality control, and today he is a product manager. Okay, so there is growth opportunity in every job, in every role. It will give you a nice platform for you to explore a job, learn how different functions are working, and it will basically give you a chance to see what is that you love. Are you loving your current job, or you want to try something else? Okay, and the last one in customer service is escalation. You call a customer support person, let's say your query is still not resolved. They'll tell you, okay, give it 2 days, and still it does not get resolved. You're more irritated, so it then goes to the escalation team. Okay, let's say a person reaching out to customer service, 2-3 times within a day, or it could be within 2-3, let's say 2-3 days, but the person is coming back. So that is typically where customer escalation team will come into picture. Okay. And then there are CS analysts. So when I say CS analyst, this is again very, very interesting. And I think any analyst job, you will really find it to be interesting if you like problem solving. Okay. If you like to be the detective, seeing, okay, what is going wrong? How do I fix it? Okay. Again, Excel, if you are good at Excel, you can explore customer service analyst jobs. One example that I can give you is um, returns and exchanges. Okay, when I say returns and exchanges, is Bhavna doing a lot of returns? She places 10 orders, but she's doing returns in 5 orders. Now someone has to flag it, right? So in big companies like Amazon, it's the system doing all this job, and it is flagged, and then it moves to a person where they cross check and then take some actions. Okay, so but in smaller companies, like few orders, so there is customer service analyst as well. Okay. So this is the last slide, where I want to talk about what are the fundamental skills for all the jobs that we just spoke about. Okay. So first thing is communication. Under communication, I'm talking about verbal communication and written communication. Okay. So any management jobs, written communication is very, very important. So when I passed out of engineering, I probably didn't even know how to write a good email. Okay, so you will eventually learn with time, but now knowledge is free. YouTube is there. You can definitely practice some, let's say, to improve your email communication and verbal communication. I have seen many people in Big Basket, especially in the operation, who may not be, let's say, speaking the best English, okay, but they are really pros. They're really good in what they do, and they have reached, let's say, senior management. Okay, so definitely, I'm not telling that you have to be really great at English, but what I say is good verbal communication means that, okay, you are talking in a good pace that others are able to understand as well. Okay, problem solving, you might have heard of problem solving skills as a requirement in all the jobs. So when I say problem solving, it really means identifying the right problem. There might be 10 problems in front of you, but you have to decide, okay, out of these 10 problems, I think these four are much more important to be sorted out first. Okay, and again, in those four problems, you will say that, okay, this is the problem that I want to fix first. It is affecting a lot of customers, or it is really, let's say, it is really causing a lot of issues in operations. Okay, so identifying the right problem and coming up with possible solutions. Okay, so whenever you have a problem, it's really not that, okay, you just say this is the solution. Okay, you have to explore at least 2 to 3 solutions and then think, okay, I think this solution B is the right solution for this particular problem. Okay, so you have to come up with possible solutions and justify saying, okay, solution B is the way to go. So that is your problem solving skills. And try to be tech savvy, because we have moved from internet to the age of AI now. There, everybody's tech savvy. My mother-in-law does UPI. Like, okay, I don't carry cash. I only do UPI. So it has come to that level, and all the vegetable vendors also have this UPI. So we really have to be tech savvy now. Again, how can you be tech savvy? It was really the curiosity to learn. Okay, so whenever you see any app, you can explore. Okay, why they would have built this feature? Is it something which is common across all e-commerce, or is it something that they're really doing in a very different way? Okay, so it is a curiosity to learn, saying, okay, and how they might have built it. Okay. And the last thing that I want to talk about is, as a fresher, you might have experienced it saying, okay, there's no experience, it is difficult to give a job. And it's a loop, right? You don't have experience, so you can't give a job, and nobody is ready to give that job, which is the common problem. So the way to break this cycle is to have a personal brand. Okay. When I say personal brand, what I mean is, it's not just your resume or CV. Okay, try to have a good social media profile. Okay, you could be a YouTuber. Okay, with, let's say, 1,000 subscribers or 500 subscribers, or you have where you're sharing your knowledge, okay, that you're learning something and then you're sharing it. Another way is, let's say, LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the best platform, which has personally helped me in getting all the jobs. So even as a fresher, personal brand, having it on LinkedIn is very important because it's a professional platform, and you can showcase that you have done these courses, you have done these certifications. It will really, let's say, if you want to be a project manager, you can do agile project management certification and show it up on LinkedIn saying, hey, I've done this. And then every 2 weeks you can post that this is what I learned, this is my major takeaway from the certification, this is what I found interesting in this course. So you can write about it. Only when you showcase that you have this knowledge, people will give you a chance, right? You might have all the knowledge, but how will I know that you have that knowledge, right? I should see it until. And now, see, since resume or CV shortlisting is the first step, I will not even know it, right? So it's important that you put a link to your, let's say, YouTube or LinkedIn, showcasing your knowledge. That's when I will probably give you a chance. When I say me, I'm telling recruiters will probably give you a chance, saying, okay, this person is definitely trying to learn, trying to, let's say, get to this job. You want to be a designer, showcase what you've designed. Showcase some website that you have designed. Okay, maybe nobody's using it, but showcase that, okay, you've designed this website. Okay, so having a personal brand is very important. And do reach out to me if at all you are interested in building this personal brand. Okay, so that's it from me. Thanks for joining. I hope you found the session insightful. I hope you learned something new, even if it's just one thing or 10 things. Thanks again, Deepanjan. Over to you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
Q&A.
thank you so much, Bhavna. So, Bhavna, if you don't mind, you can share your LinkedIn, profile link in the chat so that if
Yeah.
someone wants to connect, they
Yeah.
can do that.
Sure.
I think we can move on to the Q&A section. We'll quickly address a few questions that came in during the session. So one was regarding data engineering. So is data engineering teams available within, I think you talked about this, but yeah, this is a question from Harshal regarding the importance and presence of data engineering teams. That's a crucial job there, right?
Yes, data engineering, that's the job which is booming, I will tell you. If you are someone who likes, let's say, SQL, you're comfortable with SQL, and it is something which you can learn easily. Okay, it's not like your Java. So, data engineering, if you're good at math, if you like problem solving, data engineering is the best job that you can pick up right now. Like more than developer, data engineering is a better choice.
Got it. All right. So with that, I think we come to the Q&A session. And if anyone has any question, they can, unmute yourself and ask a question. अगर किसी को कुछ भी सवाल पूछना हो, आप unmute करके पूछ सकते हैं. या तो आप chat में भी mention कर सकते हैं. Anyone has any questions right now? Is everything clear? No one has any queries regarding any. Please don't hesitate. I mean, there's no question that's simple. It's purely your opportunity to ask anything that you want to know about maybe the next job that you want to get into, some requirements, some skills that you want to learn, or want to share an experience. Please go ahead. You can unmute yourself. Okay.
I hope I explained it in simple words, or if it was everything which went above the head. So
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, I think there's one more question from Priyanka. She mentioned, how can we find about openings with Big Basket in our city?
So it's typically LinkedIn that you will find the openings, and they now have careers page as well. So that's the place to go. And recently, I attended a free webinar about how to find the jobs in a hidden market. Okay, so so the first thing is it's not just LinkedIn, Naukri, Apna, and all of that, right? So there is hidden job market which typically happens through referrals. So and there is internal hiring which happens. So again, for referrals, it's important that you do a lot of networking. It's good if you can, let's say, build that network on LinkedIn. If you can, let's say, attend some seminars, offline events, and then approach saying, okay, this is the skill that you have acquired. You've done some courses, would you be able to give me a chance? So that's your hidden job market, and cracking using referrals is a good thing.
I think the next question is from Abhinav. He's asked
Mhm.
that he's completed his MBA in operations and marketing, and is currently looking for a job in Amazon, Flipkart, in the operations field. So, like, can you give any suggestions to him?
Yeah, so MBA from market. So I will say digital marketing is a good place. It is something which is only going to, let's say, boom, because it's the era of Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and all of this. So digital marketing is would be the best choice. Not very chaotic, but you are someone if you are someone who is okay with, let's say, solving problems on a day-to-day basis, uh, it's a very good thing to explore your option in operations field, saying, let's say, it could be warehouse manager, or it could be inventory controller, right? Or even in, let's say, your logistics analyst. It could be even in transportation management or key account management, saying, okay, you will be able to handle Amul brand, right? So it's you have a lot of options for sure if you have done MBA.
Okay. Next question is from Rahul. He wants to know if there's any suggestions to enter into a product-based company.
Enter into a product-based company. So, I mean, e-commerce, so it's typically product-based itself, right? So my suggestion as a fresher is, the first thing is you need to have that personal brand, okay? So because looking at CV first, the recruiter, I'll tell you this, okay? So I was sitting beside a recruiter and I referred a person. She just saw it for like 10 seconds and said, rejected. Like, how are you doing this in 10 seconds? Can you please take a deeper look? No, no, no. I just saw this. It's not very interesting, not very interesting project. And she just rejected it in 10 seconds. So that is very, very true. Okay. So having that person brand, showcasing your, let's say, knowledge or your passion to get into a company, that's how you can impress the recruiter. At least they will give you a chance, they will talk to you, and then you can explain more. So that's the way to go. And do connect with recruiters on LinkedIn, okay? If you are targeting, let's say, product based companies, for example, someone said they want to get into Amazon, Flipkart, connect with people on Amazon and Flipkart. Don't just say, don't drop the message immediately saying I am looking for a job. So it's really connecting with them and then showcasing your knowledge. And maybe after you've had a chat for 2, 3 times, then say that, okay, I'm looking for this particular role. How can I get into it? Is there any certification or course that you would recommend me to do it? Yeah.
Okay. The next question is from Toshit. He wants to understand, like, he's an MBA fresher. How can he get into warehousing?
Right. So again, you can look for those titles, okay, saying, okay, warehouse management. So that is typically, nobody will have the experience with that, right? Warehouse management if you are a MBA fresher. So you can share it. You are someone who loves e-commerce operations. You are you're okay with handling chaos, or you want to do that. You are happy to, let's say, do problem solving on a day-to-day basis. So that's how you can approach it. And yeah, I think the way to find these jobs are on the careers page on the individual company's website pages.
Okay. I think this again is a question which might not be very relevant, but they wanted to understand, like, if you're doing digital marketing for these companies, who will be bearing the cost of ad spends?
Oh, it's the company itself, right? So Big Basket have, let's say, this many crores of rupees per month for digital marketing. So again, in that, they will have divisions saying, okay, this much for Facebook, this much for Instagram, this much for Twitter. So it is the company which is bearing the cost. So, for example, even in IPL, they advertise this time with Royal Challengers Bangalore for BB Now, right? So again, that is part of digital marketing, and Big Basket has to bear this cost.
Got it. The next question is from Malik. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing the name incorrectly. He wanted to understand, like he's done his MBA in 2014 and he's working as an accountant in a trading business in a small city. He wanted to shift to e-commerce. So is that possible for him?
Sorry, where was he working?
He's working as an accountant in trading business.
Okay. And yeah, there are accountants as well. I mean, yeah, I didn't mention the finance team, right? So of course there is finance team sitting in e-commerce. There you can definitely get into e-commerce because there's a lot of invoicing which happens in an e-commerce, right? So with suppliers, and then you get all the money. So there is a lot of finance team. I think there were a lot of people in finance team and Big Basket. So definitely a big yes.
Yeah. And I think we'll take just one last question for the day. This is related to freshers again. Like this one again from Toshit. He's asked, like most companies are asking for 5 to 6 years of experience. So as a fresher, what could be one good way to break through into this sector?
That's what. So, personal branding is the way to break. Okay. So, as a fresher, um, I mean, when I joined as a fresher, probably the competition was not so much, let's
Yeah.
say 7, 8 years. But now the competition is really huge, right? Now, freshers are entrepreneurs. Okay, forget working, looking for a job role. They actually they do their startup also, right? So the competition is really there's a lot of competition right now. So I think being able to showcase yourself as unique, or you've really done something, you're trying to learn something, that's how a recruiter will give a chance.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think with that we have addressed almost all the questions that came through. Thank you so much, Bhavna, for yeah. Is there any courses is something someone has asked? I think if there's any more questions, you can maybe reach out to Bhavna on LinkedIn. We
Yeah.
can definitely recommend courses or any other resources that you can address, and you can connect with them on a one-on-one basis. We'll try to have more sessions like these in the future as well, so that you can interact and have maybe a continuation of where we left off. Once again, huge thank you, Bhavna, for joining in and have making this session successful. I'm pretty sure people have gotten clarity on the different options that they can explore. And essentially for freshers who are still figuring out what they want to go ahead and do in life, this was
Yeah.
like an introduction to all options that they currently have with them.
Yes.
So
Yes.
yeah, I think we'll definitely try to
Absolutely.
have more sessions to discuss this in depth, and we'll announce these
Yeah.
things on the Apna community. So we'll keep having sessions like these. Everyone who's present here, thank you for joining. We'll have sessions like these in the Apna community, announce them every now and then. You can simply register by commenting interested on the post, and we'll send you invites. And if you have any feedback, do feel free to start a discussion on the thread on the Apna community, tag Apna on LinkedIn, let us know how you felt, and we'd love to hear from you. At the end of the day, wow, huge thank you and a very good like evening to everyone who joined in. We'll come towards a conclusion and wish everyone a very good night for the day. Apna, if you want to say any last words before we close this.
Yeah, all the best. So job search is not easy. I mean, just last year when I completed my MBA in London, I applied for 800 jobs, and then I managed to get 2 job offers. So job search is a tough journey. It is time consuming, but the idea is to say that okay, every day is a new day. I will keep trying, and doing those courses, certifications is always good to showcase that you are really interested in moving to this particular domain. So all the very best. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. I'll be happy to help. If it's chat, then I'm happy to help with 2, 3 messages. But if you really want in-depth advice and all, you will have to book a mentoring session. I'm happy to talk to each of you and guide you in each of those roles on how you can go ahead. Right. Thank
Yeah.
you, Deepanjan,
Yeah.
again. Thanks for
Thank you so much. Also, anyone who was asking for the recording, I've attached a link to our website. We'll be uploading recorded sessions there very soon. We have added a section there called Exclusives. So you can check the past sessions, you can register for new sessions and also check recording. So we'll be updating those web page very soon. So save that website. You can refer to it maybe in a week or so, and you will find the recordings for all these sessions there. Yeah. Thank you so much, Bhavna. A very, very
Oh.
good night to everyone. Have a nice day.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.